Pick Willies. Welcome back to Business Class. Well, to many, Alice Springs is the unofficial capital and spiritual heart of the Australian outback. Immortalised in Neville Shute's novel, A Town Like Alice, and the cult Aussie film, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the town is known to challenge and amaze those who visit. Adam Ford is the editor of the Big Bus Tour and Travel Guide, and he joins us now to share his tips for travellers to Alice. Good to see you, Tom. Welcome to the program. Adam, I should say, sorry.
That's right, Nadine.
Talk to us, I guess, about what there is to do in Alice. Tell us the things that we just can't miss.
Absolutely. First of all, I've got to say, Nadine, there is no town like Alice. What an amazing travel destination it is. Look, I've got to say also a big thank you to the Northern Territory Convention Bureau and CIM Magazine for taking me out there and really showcasing what's happening out in Alice Springs in terms of travel destination. It's just extraordinary. Lots and lots of great opportunities, I've got to say, to engage with Indigenous culture in particular. I felt there was a real sense of cooperation and respect for Indigenous culture around town on every level. Lots of opportunities to engage with it for those that want to. Just three that I'll focus on. The first one is the Albert Namatjura Gallery, which is located in the Araluen Cultural Centre. Now, a lot of people will be familiar with the name Albert Namatjura. He's really cited as the father of the modern-day Indigenous art movement. He worked in the Central Desert around the first half of the 20th century. So head along to the museum just to get a bit of the backstory happening. There's a fascinating event that happens in Alice Springs in September called Desert Mob, and that brings a lot of Indigenous artists from outlying remote communities into Alice Springs. There's a symposium on the direction of Indigenous art and an art market. So if you're interested in picking up a piece of Indigenous art, that's a great opportunity to do it. And just on the lighter side, an event called the Alice Springs Beanie Festival. Now, this started back in 1997 with Indigenous women crocheting beanies out in remote communities to make a little bit of extra money. It's grown into one of the biggest events on the Alice Springs calendar. And I brought along a little souvenir to show you. I don't know if we can see this on camera, but here is my Alice Springs beanie. I'm just going to pop that on. What do you think?
I think it's a winner. Good one.
Very
Leave it
fetching,
on.
eh?
You've got to leave it on for the rest of this interview. Not that we go to a place like Alice Springs to have an urban experience, but I do have friends that just returned from Alice, and they said, you know, look, there's actually a lot... okay. There's a lot, you know, of hipster stuff, I guess, for lack of a better word, that actually does have a pretty good scene there developing in Alice.
Yeah, look, it was absolutely amazing. There's a huge amount of stuff happening around the town. You know, town doesn't look like much to begin with, but when you start to sort of dig a little bit deeper, you just discover how much is going on. You just had some amazing images there of outback ballooning. You can head out at dawn with outback ballooning and do a balloon ride over the red centre as the sun comes up. Just extraordinary. I can't recommend that highly enough. You're going to need your beanie for that one. At the other end of the day, one of the great joys about travelling outside of Australia's major cities is you don't have the light pollution that you do in the city. So the night sky is incredibly vivid. The stars are really bright. Sometimes we forget that they're even there. There's a company called Earth Sanctuary that will take you out from your Alice Springs hotel out into the desert. You have dinner there, and then you do a guided stargazing experience, which I just found breathtaking, taking a little wander amongst the constellations.
Yeah.
So definitely have a look at that. Spectacular.
But you have to remember that Uluru, many people go thinking that it's just a hop, skip and a jump. It's actually, you know, a big day trip, or, you know, you should really go and stay overnight, you think?
Yeah, totally. Look, a lot of people are a bit disappointed to find out that Uluru is not right on Alice's doorstep. It's actually a 4.5-hour drive. Some people do it as a day tour. I wouldn't recommend it. Go out there for a couple of days, enjoy it. There are lots of really spectacular natural landscapes around Alice Springs which are a lot more accessible. So you've got Simpsons Gap, you've got Emily and Jessie Gap, you've got the Ellery Creek Big Hole, you've got Rainbow Valley, just to name a few. Lots and lots of spectacular stuff to see in and around town, including the East McDonald Ranges, which really frame the whole of the city. Spectacular.
Okay, so talk to us about where we should be staying. Any executive sort of accommodation there?
Yes, I've got a couple of executive options for you. Now, the first one is Lassiter's Hotel and Casino. You mentioned The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Of course, Lassiter's immortalised in that particular film. Now, they've got some premium suites there which have been completely remodelled. They're a split-level 2 bedrooms. So they're just going to give you a little bit of extra space, particularly if you're travelling with a family. Fantastic amenities. They've got a heated swimming pool, 4 or 5 bars and restaurants. Their signature restaurant, Tali, does amazing modern Australian cuisine with a bit of an outback twist. The other thing that I love about Lassiter's is they've got something called the Lassiter's Collection, which is a collection of 80 original Indigenous artworks spread around the hotel for you to enjoy during your stay.